For an economic sweet spot. Growth in the Trump economy has been astronomical, but now top economists are warning that leaner times are ahead. I spoke with Federal Reserve President James Bullard about this very topic yesterday.
I think the projections are that the economy is going to slow. But and I think that's the right thing to base policy on, that should be how you plan. And then you hope for the best. You hope that productivity will improve in the U.S. economy and you'll actually get faster growth. That would be great news.
The next Fed meeting is September 26th. We are expecting rates to move higher at that time. Joining us now to discuss that is Bankrate.com senior economic analyst Mark Hamrick. Mark, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. This survey came from your firm. What prediction should we take to avoid an economic halt, and what is leading to this economic slowdown, given the fact that we just saw 2 straight quarters of 4% growth?
Well, in a way, you just answered the question. Good morning, Marie. It's great to be back with you. I think, the just completed second quarter with 4.2% growth in the U.S. and the fact that 2018 is widely expected to be the strongest year that we have seen in some time, in the sense of roughly 3%. And then whether it's our economists weighing in, whether it's the Federal Reserve sort of projecting out into 2019, 2020, you don't have any predictions for 3% growth in the coming year nor the following year. And so you take together the impacts of a front-loaded tax cut. We have the stock market down this morning because of trade concerns. We have this kind of uneven situation with the U.S. economy and economies overseas, including our trading partners. And then finally, as we just referenced, the Federal Reserve does seem to be on a trajectory of rising interest rates all the way through next year. Now, we can hope, perhaps, that the Fed will not necessarily be in that mode to take so much accommodation away, but that's the expectation, and of course we'll get their forecast.
I still haven't heard any solid evidence of any slowdown. Mike Murphy, we're talking about 4% economic growth and all these predictions of, things are going to slow down so much in the next 2 years. I'm just trying to get my head around it. I don't understand how that happens when you're in this period. Just because of higher interest rates? What's causing the slowdown?
I don't think there's much to get your head around, because I don't see it either. So you talk about rates going higher, but it's not rates going higher by 25 basis points every quarter, say. That's not enough to grind this growth to a halt.
Right.
This isn't. So we don't have growth that can't be even surpassed next year. So I think a lot of this is pouring water on an economy. I think a lot of it comes from people expecting 2% growth and getting used to 2% growth, now seeing 4% growth and saying this can't be sustainable. But I think it actually is. I don't see anything out there either.
Yeah, let me ask Bob Nardelli a question. If you go back to 7, 8, or 9, we saw the financial meltdown that brought everything. Then we saw a residential housing meltdown. People now are talking about the auto industry slowing down, commercial real estate slowing down as a result of Amazon, a lot of retail malls, etc., having to close. What are the 2 or 3 indices you're looking at that would support kind of the information, as Maria said, that came out of your survey?
Sure. Well, I don't think, first of all, the economists are basing their forecast, let's say, for next year on anything that's happening at this very moment. So what I would always be watching, of course, the housing market, as you referenced, although we also know that typically the future crisis is not going to be just like the crisis that we had last time around, and thank goodness for that. But I would continue to watch consumer confidence. Obviously, that's very strong, retail sales strong, and business confidence. And I think, if anything, we just saw with the ISM manufacturing survey yesterday, we do continue to get a pretty strong body of commentary, whether it's ISM, the Fed Beige Book, on the level of uncertainty that has been injected into the business environment because of, let's say, trade disputes and, a lack of certainty about how all this will be worked out.
So you just think things are going to slow down because they're so strong now, and there's just... That's just what you're expecting. You're just saying, okay, well, things are really strong right now, so it's just got to slow down. Is that your analysis?
I'll try to make it as simple as possible. First of all, a front-end loaded tax cut. You have the Federal Reserve predicting that they're going to raise interest rates essentially up to 6 times over the next year and a half, actually less than a year and a half now, and global trade tensions. Those are 3 factors that the economists are looking at.
Still not solid evidence. Still not solid evidence there. I mean, you got the jobs number out on Friday, Dagan. We're looking at pretty good jobs picture, 3.9% unemployment. Sure, things will slow down at some point, but I just want to see what the catalysts are that are leading to all these dire predictions. I don't get it.
Politically, too, I think that the Democrats are overreaching, trying to talk down an economy, trying to convince, even hoodwink individuals in this country who are benefiting from the tax cuts, who are benefiting from this incredibly strong job market. And you see that in the consumer confidence. These numbers aren't just pretty good. They are awesome. They're 18-year high for consumer confidence. The factory sector, the strongest growth that we've seen in 14 years. We haven't had 3% growth in any one calendar year in more than a decade. So again, to try and talk this down, and this is a political hammer that some individuals are trying to use. There's no evidence. And by the way, we haven't seen in the expansion that did start in 2009, we haven't seen a major boom in CapEx and corporate spending, in lending, or in housing. Those are reasons to think that this expansion could continue. Well, maybe not north of 4%, but certainly north of 3%.
Well, that's the point. You keep saying it's a front-end loaded tax cut, Mark, but everybody we speak with in terms of the business managers that are seeing an impact say that this thing has a long runway, that we haven't even seen the impact of the tax cut yet. So you're talking about it being front-ended. Others who are actually managing businesses and employees are saying there's a long runway here. So, again, I don't see the evidence.
Well, I mean, I think there are all kinds of estimates out there, including the Federal Reserve's estimates. So do you think that those are valid, that growth is expected to slow over the next 2 years?
I'm a numbers girl. I like to see the evidence of it. That's it. We spoke with Robert Kaplan, president of the Dallas Federal Reserve, and you're right. His prediction was that, we'll see 3% this year, but by the time 2020 rolls around, we're down to 1.9%. But again, only because rates are going to move higher. Nothing substantial to actually indicate a slowdown and business managers changing their decisions to put capital to work as a result of the regulation rollback. So we'll see. We'll see who's right here. Mark, it's good to have you on the show.
I hope you're right, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mark Hamrick joining us there.